pouring the dumb out. Hello, how are you guys doing? I am back, and I guess I wanted to first of all, while I talk to you, I'm going to, in the background, I'm gonna shrink myself down in the corner right here. Whoop! And then the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share what I'm gonna be working on this week in the background as I talk to you. So what I want to do this week is I have a commission that I need to do. I've been holding it off that involves these tiny little frames again. And I'm in the process of figuring out how to make my frames even smaller. There was the issue of putting the point drivers in and keeping the piece of wood in place with these frames being so deep, because this is the kind of wood that I can get locally here. But I need to be able to cut this wood in half to make the frame smaller so I can fit my point driver in. And somebody mentioned about a different point driver, and I found a spot that had that point driver, and I went and looked at it, and it wouldn't fit these frames really either, because it's still kind of too long. But that was a good suggestion. I looked into it, and not possible. So very soon I have a table saw coming to me. It's going to be here in like 2 to 3 weeks. And I'm going to be able to rip these down a little bit smaller, and I'll be able to make smaller frames. But until then, I've got a couple more of these to fill up. One of them is going to be with a commission piece. Another one is a project yet to be determined. But the third one, this one that I'm currently holding in my hands, is going to be used to create what I'm sketching behind me. And you can see that is a, so with this one, I kind of, you know what it is, but I'm not going to say it yet. I didn't know what to do. I just kind of wanted to make something this week because I've been sketching for other people this week, and I've been answering emails, and I've been taking photos of work that I recently finished. I took photos of all of my cats that I finished off camera. But I did a series of cats, 9 lives, and they all came out great, and hopefully you enjoy them. But those are all finished, and yeah. So back to my sketching. So I did all that. I photographed all those, photographed some tiny carvings, answered emails, worked on sketches for other people. And I just wanted to make something for myself this week and maybe share that process with you guys. So I wanted to do something dumb and something I haven't done before. And I was kind of, just sketching around. I was Googling animals, looking down the animal list, and I was drawing this llama with big teeth. And I liked it, but I didn't love it. I don't know if it read as a llama, and I don't know if it was super interesting. So then I drew a bird, and I think I'm going to do like a bird piece like this eventually. But I just didn't want to do it this week. I wanted to get some like dumb out. Sometimes you just got to pour the dumb out. And that's what I'm doing this week. I'm pouring the dumb out. And that's why I drew this really dumb flying shark to kind of just to get that dumb out of me this week. That's this week's life lesson. Pour the dumb out. So yeah, so I've got that sketched out onto a board, and that is ready to carve. So just watch as I make this week. I have decided that I will continue to make videos. They may not happen every week, and they may not be as regimented as they were before to allow me to do more things. I don't know what they're going to be. But I think that's okay. And even if they're a little bit repetitive, where I just, I work on something, I paint it, and then I ink it, there's something comforting to that if you guys enjoy watching that week after week. So yeah, that's kind of what I decided. I'm going to keep making stuff. I'm going to keep sharing my work with you guys. That's part of my job, is share my work with everybody, but I'm not going to focus on being entertaining. I'm not going to focus on hitting certain goals, and I'm not going to focus on posting every Monday. You'll just be surprised when they pop up. It's probably still going to be Monday, because I'm probably still going to edit on the weekends. But, It's not going to be every Monday, and you'll never know what you're going to get from me. I'm just going to be a surprise channel every now and then. How does that sound? How does that sound? Anywho, with all that out of the way, it's time for me to start carving on this flying shark piece. So I got to go spray paint it, and then I'm going to carve it. All right, look at that. Flying shark is finished. It's got a lot of fine details in it, but nothing too crazy. But like these little teeth lines are super duper small. Let's see if I can, I don't know. They're razor thin. Not, I guess they're not razor thin, but they're pretty small. Yeah, it's got a lot of good details there. I think it'll be a fun piece. I'll paint it up. And so that's the next step for me is I need to go grab a paintbrush and some paint and put some paint on this and see what he looks like finished. So, yeah, follow along as I paint it. What do you think? I like how, you know, the cloud goes in front of him. It looks like he's going through the clouds. And there's one thing that I kind of wanted to do, but with as small as this piece is and how intricate some of these little turns are, I decided to not do it. I generally like to go right up to the lines that I've drawn with my background noise lines, interesting aspects, carving marks. But in this piece, I decided to carve around it just because these lines they're very round. And that technique doesn't really do well for super curly lines and carved line work. Carved line work's difficult to do. So things like this little area is not the most friendly thing to do. But I was able to get it done. I just had to do a little bit of a different technique where there's a kind of a white area around the whole figure. But now that it's done, let's go paint. All right, so I've got that piece painted and it's ready to start inking up. But one thing's first, I have a little bit more dumb that I need to slap out of there. I just had one more frame and I drew this last night and I wanted to carve this out today and paint this up and ink this one up too. Because I don't really have anything else to do. I haven't had really any t-shirt orders recently. So I'm just kind of making stuff. So I wanna carve this little guy out. I'm just looking, he's a little wonky. I think I need to make that eye bigger because I'm looking on the screen on the camera as I talk to you and that's flipped. And when you flip drawings, you kind of see things that are weird about it. So I think I'm gonna make that pupil a little bit bigger right now. Grab a Sharpie and let's see. Boop, 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 boop. Maybe a little bit bigger. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, that's a little bit better. All right. So I'm going to carve this out and paint this one up today too. And then I will have 2 carved, painted, and framed pieces ready to go. So I wasn't really expecting to finish 2 of these little carvings this week, but they're both done. And it's actually pretty exciting that I was able to do this. I really enjoy the little frame pieces because it's easy for me. So here's part of my process. I do a sketch. I draw that sketch onto wood. I cut it out. I carve it. I paint it. I ink it. That's how I do my carved and painted pieces, in that order. When I'm doing the ones that have like a general shape to them, the ones that aren't framed, that are like, you know, just singular images, kind of like that one right there. I'll just throw like the T-Rex cat up there. What I have to do for those, as I draw it, I plan it out. I draw it onto the wood. I cut it out of the wood. And then I paint the edges. And then I paint the surface. And then I carve it. And then I paint the whole thing. And then I ink it. And what's a little bit quicker with these is I don't have to... I can prepare like 30 frame pieces, have the frames ready to go with the piece of wood that fits in that frame, cut out, ready to carve. And I can just sit down and just do them a little bit more freely. So I'm kind of excited about that, just to let the ideas come out faster and more fun. I think it might, well, it's definitely going to lead to me doing more work. And it also, I don't know, I also like the look of the frame pieces because I can put like a background in them and put an environment. But here are the 2 frame pieces that I finished this week. When I was looking at these, this one looks fine. This one looks fine in person. When I show this one in like videos and photos, I feel like it doesn't photograph as well as it looks in person. And I don't know why that is, but when I was, you know, editing some videos of this last night, I think it looks weird on camera, but it looks, and actually I like this one better than this one in person. But when I look at this one on screen, I like this one better than this one. I don't know why, but it's very strange. I don't know. Anywho, I guess I'll stop talking about these because they're done and they're in the past. All I have to do is put them in the frames, and well, they're in the frames, but I have to secure them in the frames, put a hanger on them, and then they'll be done and ready to go on someone's wall. So look for these to hit the website soon if they're not already up there at the time of you watching this. So thanks again for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the little slower paced, I don't know, just kind of mini vlog that this channel possibly could turn into. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see y'all later. All right, bye. Ooh. Oh, and something exciting happened today. I picked up my table saw. Today's Saturday when I was filming this part. I needed to do an outro. I hadn't done one yet. But I picked up my table saw today. So possibly next week, after when I play with it a little bit more, I could have some itty bitty frames that I'm going to be working on. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm pretty excited to share with you that idea in my head. So right now, what I showed you, what I did this week. Reach over here. This is the smallest I can frame that I can do with this style frame, because I like the thinner frame. I was doing them that way, and so the border was just real wide. It would go out to like here, and I could do is a million of those small, but I just didn't like how they looked. So I decided to get a table saw so I could rip smaller pieces of wood into, so I can make smaller frames with a lower profile that the point driver can fit into. Very complicated. It's not, but you know, it's just the little details. Anywho, got the table saw today. Very excited. Smaller frames coming soon. Too long, didn't read. All right, bye.